Everyone to a brand new box office breakdown show here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnenberg. Today, I am breaking down the domestic box office from July 11th to 13th, 2025, looking at the overall numbers, both domestic and worldwide for this year, previewing the movies that are hitting theaters this weekend starting on July 17th, and then previewing my week of videos that will be hitting the channel. So welcome back everyone to Max Talks Box Office here on Max Talks Movies. If you're new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell if you're new to the channel. I do movie and TV show reviews, out of theater reactions, box office breakdown shows, and movie franchise rankings. I basically post minimum 5 days a week here on this channel, so please consider subscribing so you're notified when my videos drop. And please, I want to get to 400 subscribers as quickly as possible. So please hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on the box office? Did Superman overperform, underperform in your eyes? Does it become a $1 billion movie? Let me know down in the comments. And also, what did you see this past weekend? What did you see? What are you going to see this upcoming weekend? And guys, also please hit that thumbs up button. Really helps YouTube creators like myself gain more traction. So, without further ado, guys, let's get right into this past weekend's box office domestically. And obviously, Superman is the #1 movie of the weekend, worldwide and domestically. Now, domestically, it made 125 million dollars for the weekend. Now, estimates have been all over the place, where some people had it opening around 90 to around like 170. It had a very big range. And I said last week here on the channel, it would finish around in the middle of that. I was thinking more 130, 140. 125, I think, is a good enough opening for Superman. It's the third biggest movie opening of the year domestically, behind Minecraft and Lilo and Stitch. It's the third movie this year to open to over $100 million domestically. This is a good number for Superman. Now, is this a blow the doors off? DC is back and they are on track to take over? No. This is a very solid number. But again, the production budget for this movie was 225 before advertising. And the rumored they spent so much on advertising for this movie. The rumored budget for that is like nearly $200 million. So if we're just looking off the production budget and how we normally judge it, the movie probably needs to hit nearly $600 million to break even. Now, if this film did have an outrageously large advertisement campaign, which a lot of people like me do think they have, they probably need to reach at least 700, maybe hopefully 800 to break even. Now, this movie did open $9 million bigger than Man of Steel back in 2013. Man of Steel is the highest grossing solo Superman movie of all time, with it made $667 million worldwide. Now, again, I know in Superman 1978, it did not make as much, but adjusted for inflation, yes, it would be the highest grossing Superman movie of all time. But I just am not a big fan in doing box office shows adjusting for inflation, because that money isn't real money to the creators of those films from back in the day. Like, that movie didn't make $1 billion, it made whatever it made. So, from non-adjusted for inflation, this Superman movie, in order to become the highest grossing solo Superman film, needs to make over $687 million worldwide. So I do think there are a lot of factors, I think, on why this movie didn't completely blow up. Now, again, the movie has very good audience scores, very good critic scores. I do think there are still a lot of people who defend the Snyderverse, and those people really attack this movie, obviously from its inception, but really when the movie came out. As someone who's on that type of social media, a lot of Twitter is just dedicated for people not to go see this movie if you're a fan of the Snyderverse, which I think is absolutely ridiculous that people actually feel that way, and not to give a movie a chance because you like another version of the characters. Honestly, a sad life if you're on Twitter creating get the free Zack Snyder, even though he got to make his own movie a couple years ago. I think there are a lot of problems with this movie from a business perspective. The biggest one is, I think the problem is James Gunn became the face of this movie. And I love James Gunn, the filmmaker. There's not many of his movies I don't enjoy or even give a negative review to. He's especially one of the best comic book filmmakers we have out there. And I think as a studio head, he's done some questionable stuff as it pertains to how he talks to people, where he talks to people. I just feel like in this advertisement campaign, and the interviews and the junkets, it feels like everything has been about James Gunn. Now, again, I think maybe he did that because, again, out of this entire cast, Nicholas Hoult is the most famous actor. There really aren't these star power, some of the most famous celebrities in the world in this movie. Now, again, I think that's smart, especially when you have a brand like Superman. Why pay 10 people a lot of money when you know the Superman brand enough should make you a lot of money? But this movie became more about James Gunn at times from a promotion perspective than it did about the Superman and the movie itself. And I do think that for a lot of people, that turned off a lot of people from maybe going to see the movie in theaters. I also think DC is, out of all the comic book, I guess, brands and maybe of the big franchises, they have been deemed some of the most untrustworthy of the last 15 years, where you have Snyder, defenders, and then when the studios started turning against the filmmakers in the mid 2000s with Zack Snyder's version of Justice League and then Suicide Squad, David Ayer, a lot of fans began turning against DC and didn't think they were trustworthy. One movie doing great, or this one movie out of the gate, it takes time to win back fans' trust over the brand. I don't think DC has completely come back. And also, I do think there's a little bit that I hate to be the person who brings up because again, one of my favorite brands is superhero brands. I do think superhero fatigue is becoming more of a thing where unless it's a must-watch event, people are now begin for the first time really in years, superhero movies are finally a brand that's getting hit by. If it's not a must-see event, I'm okay waiting for it on digital. Thunderbolts, Captain America, Brave New World did not do very good. Yes, last year, Deadpool and Wolverine made $1 billion. But those are two legacy characters from spanning 20 years of time. Multiple generations grew up with those characters. So I think that's a little bit different. It didn't feel like a total MCU film, more like a Fox X-Men film. Superman is very much different. Again, this is a character that's never been close to $1 billion worldwide. This is not as popular as a character as Batman. And I think this new era of DC, from a promotion perspective, I'm not talking about the movie and the quality of the movie. The promotion perspective just has not gone well. And I think from James Gunn's perspective and from the studio's perspective, there's a lot to learn about how to go about these next couple projects. As obviously they have Clayface and Supergirl next year and Lanterns on HBO. They have some big things coming out next year, and it's supposedly Batman Part 2 coming out in 2 years. A lot of things to learn on how to do better promoting it. And again, I respect that James Gunn wants to be a studio head who does want to connect with the fans. But I do think there are times where you're not supposed to be talking to the fans on social media. And again, everyone makes the same comparison, but it's true. Kevin Feige is the most famous studio head. He really is at this point right now of the major brands. And you don't hear Kevin Feige going on Twitter and commenting on people's posts or commenting on fans' speculation and rumors and hinting at things. Kevin Feige does Kevin Feige on his own, for better or for worse, for the decisions he makes. He keeps that behind the closed doors, not in front of the audience. But James Gunn, as a filmmaker, you have all the right to keep to talking with people online. I do think once you move to a studio head position, you probably shouldn't be jawing at fans or talking to fans on social media. I respect that he tries to do it. It's an impossible feat that really no one should be trying. I don't think it really worked out for James Gunn. So again, I think this is a very good opening, but again, this film cost 225 before advertising, and this was one of the most expensive advertising campaigns of the year. Rumored maximum 200 million. So if I say like 150 for advertising, it's usually around $100. So I'll go in the middle. So 100 million, I'll go in the middle for 150. The movie really needs to make 700, 750 to break even. So this would have to be the highest grossing Superman film of all time just to break even. So again, very good opening weekend. There is a family film, a horror film coming out this weekend, and then a Marvel film in 2 weekends. So we will see how Superman holds up moving forward. And again, I say this with every big movie and how whenever a movie like this comes out, all the fans and even people who work in the industry want to know if the movie is a winner or not in its opening weekend. And for some movies, the some few, they can say, depending on their budgets, they can be a winner on an opening weekend. If a movie costs 35, $50 million to make and they make over $100 million and make the 75, 80, they've already won at the box office. That's easy to say. But when movies cost $225 million before advertising, and usually it's around 100 million for advertising, that means it takes time to really figure, unless it's a total bomb. Like if the movie made under $100 million, that would not be good. But it made 125, which is a good number, not a great number. And now we see if this movie has legs, is the question. Audience scores used to really matter about legs at the box office. Recently, it has not told the story. So we will see what happens with Superman very soon. At number two this weekend was Jurassic World Rebirth. It is in its second weekend. It only dropped 56%, especially going up against Superman's first weekend. That's actually not as big of a drop as I was expecting. The movie's made another 40.3 this weekend. The film's already crossed $500 million globally, 232 domestically. Not a shocker. The Jurassic franchise is alive. And as I continue to tell people, this franchise has not had good quality for a very, very long time, especially since 2015 with this Jurassic World era of movies. But again, I talk about audience scores not mattering this much. This film does not have very good audience or critical scores, but it's already crossed $500 million. It has a chance to get near $1 billion. So that means, once again, the Universal continues to print money on this franchise, and I would be shocked if we don't hear an announcement in the next month or so of another Jurassic film. F1 from Apple and Warner Brothers is in its third weekend. It dropped another 49%, $13 million, 136 domestically. This movie, again, even though it has a $200 million budget, and it's only at the moment, trying to make sure what it has worldwide, 362 world, sorry, 390, yeah, 393 worldwide. It's good numbers for F1. But with the budget they have, they probably need around 450, 500 to break even. They're going to come really close to that. But again, Apple's slate of movies have done so poorly at the box office that this is a win no matter what, because all of their films have really been bombs. So the fact that F1's doing well, the word of mouth is very good. I think when it hits digital, it will do really good. Again, F1 isn't this massive, massive success, even though I really want it to be. It's not. But for Apple, it's by far their best win, and I would be shocked. Also another film that I think I could see a sequel for announced soon. How to Train Your Dragon is in its fifth weekend. It dropped 30%, 7.9 million, 239 domestically. It is the highest grossing film of the franchise domestically, but really falling behind worldwide wise. So again, this film, another film, I thought easily could be a juggernaut and should really have been the highest grossing film of the franchise. And yes, it's good that it's the best domestically. I think worldwide is what they really cared about. And the fact that this is kind of falling alongside the animated films worldwide, I don't think is a little bit of a disappointment for Universal. And Elio has finally crossed 100 million worldwide with its fourth weekend. It dropped 30%, 4 million domestic, $63 million domestically. And this is just not good numbers for Pixar. And I've gone into that over the last month. Looking at the domestic numbers this year, Superman became the 11th movie in the $100 million club. Excuse me. So if you see the list below, Minecraft is number one, Lilo and Stitch is two, Sinners is three, How to Train Your Dragon four, Jurassic World Rebirth five, Captain America Brave New World six, Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning seven, Thunderbolt eight, Final Destination Bloodlines nine, F1 is at 10. Obviously, Superman will make a big dent on this when it's in its second weekend next week. And looking at the worldwide numbers, Lilo and Stitch, $6 million away from $1 billion. It has scratched. It has crawled. And while films like Minecraft did go to digital nearly a month ago, Lilo and Stitch is not even on digital yet. Disney has left that movie, like Moana 2, in theaters for a very long time. And once again, Moana 2 did get to $1 billion because of that. Lilo and Stitch, because it got left in theaters for so long, will be a $1 billion movie for Disney. It is 6 million away. By the time I talk to you next week, it should be in the $1 billion, the first US movie in the $1 billion club. Minecraft is 3, Mission Impossible at 4, Dragon at 5, Jurassic at 6, Captain America at 8, F1 at 9, Thunderbolts is at 10, Superman is at 13. It opened to 220 worldwide, which is right around its production budget. So it's going to have to make a lot more, obviously, to break even. So before we get another big blockbuster comic book movie, we have three movies that are hitting theaters this weekend. At the biggest one is the new Smurfs movie. Family films have done very good throughout the entire year, and we'll see if Smurfs can do a little bit of counter programming to Superman if the little kids want to go to the theaters. Smurfs is definitely an option. Rihanna has been heavily promoting this movie. Who knows how big Smurfs will be? We'll see. I know he did last summer. Horror has been doing very good lately. Let's see if that does well. And then Ari Aster's Eatington also hits limited release. Ari Aster, big hits out of the gate with Hereditary and Midsommar, but Beau is Afraid really hurt his brand quickly, and the reviews have not been that good for Eatington. So we'll see if there's an audience now for Ari Aster. After him being one of the hottest filmmakers in Hollywood, it just isn't feeling like that at the moment. So upcoming this week here on the channel, I'm going to have a Superman spoiler review tomorrow. I'll have an out-of-theater reaction and review of both. I know he did last summer. That will be on, I think I'm seeing that on Thursday. I'm seeing Smurfs on Friday. So out-of-theater reaction and reviews for those movies on those days. Head of state review as well. More reviews coming down to the channel. I'll see you guys soon.